past. What if everything was different from what we have always been told? Was there a technically advanced, unified civilization on our planet less than 500 years ago? The scale and complexity of star cities make them unreasonable for defense. Are star cities one of the markers of this civilization? Did this civilization break into pieces in the course of a massive cataclysm? Was there a reset that destroyed large parts of our past, our knowledge and culture? Was industrialization, the establishment of central banks, the debt money system, and the political system of fake democracy a consequence of this reset? Was religion established as a means of manipulation after the previous society collapsed and unimaginable suffering settled over the earth? Are the great religions merely cults of salvation and redemption in reaction to the experienced end of the world? Why has Scythia, then Tartary, been erased from the maps and from our memory? Was Pompeii not buried until the eruption of Vesuvius in 1631 AD, as the researcher Andreas Churilov claims? Why do the inscriptions on the walls and houses in Pompeii speak of a war of Rome against free Italy? If Pompeii sank only 400 years ago, why is there no church or other Christian symbolism in the excavated city? How is it that cave paintings that have lasted thousands of years deteriorate so soon after modern discovery? Are they simply modern forgeries intended to establish the theory of evolution? Why were the first cave paintings discovered only after the theory of evolution was firmly established? Cave paintings went seemingly unnoticed to mankind until 1878, when a member of the influential Spanish Santander family discovered them in a cave on his property in Altamira. It remains a fact that most scholars at the time thought the paintings in Altamira cave were a Darwinist forgery. Why does architecture before the 20th century exhibit the same principles worldwide? The structures of the ancient world were based on principles that we now call Greco-Roman. Did the Industrial Revolution
Was this like the Pepsi challenge or something?
merely reintroduce technological knowledge that we had previously possessed? Why did human knowledge explode in the 19th century, only to stagnate? Apart from computers and the internet, there has been no fundamental breakthrough in technology for 100 years. What role did the World's Fairs play in introducing forgotten technology? Why did the World's Fairs all incur huge losses, despite their funding by profit-minded industrial robber barons? Demolishing hundreds of impressive neoclassical buildings so soon after their construction adds to the mystery of this losing proposition. Were these power players secretly destroying remnants of old world structures under the pretense of a temporary exposition? Why were millions of orphans taken against their will by the Church to the New World? What happened in Europe that millions of families allowed their children to be taken from them? Why was it only in the 19th century that insane asylums began to be established, and why were both political dissidents and the supposedly mentally ill imprisoned there? Why do these asylums exhibit the same architectural principles that we know from the Old World? Were the impressive buildings of the old unified civilization repurposed as prisons for those who resisted the new order? To date, almost all these asylums have been demolished. Another economic mystery. Were the asylums just the logical continuation of the Church's Inquisition and witch hunts? How long did it take to wipe out the last keepers of ancient knowledge? Are Freemasons called Freemasons because they pass off the architecture of the Old World as their own work? Freemasonry equals free masonry? Was colonialism and imperialism of the Spanish, Portuguese, and British nothing more than a merciless worldwide raid to destroy and annex the remnants of the ancient world? Was the Civil War in the US really a war between the Vatican-infiltrated northern states and the freedom-loving southern region who refused to deny their true past? Or was the establishment of communism and a 20th century global conflict two sides of the same coin to wipe out any last remnant of European Old World culture? Does the biblical serpent symbolize the primordial enemy of mankind, a hostile, non-human race? Was there once a unified language on Earth? Are the events of the 1811 Great Comet, 1812 New Madrid earthquake, and 1816 Year Without a Summer representative of a single event in history? Why does Napoleon appear exactly at this time to allegedly destroy half of Europe? Was Napoleon invented as a historical placemaker for a cataclysmic disaster that occurred in Europe?
It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate sphere. That's what we call it.
Was modern science, specifically physics, astrophysics, archaeology, evolutionary biology, and geology, created just to keep us in a mental prison? Why are people getting sicker and sicker? Has most of the real knowledge been stolen from us? Is the myth of the biblical flood the echoes of an event that wiped out the ancient world less than 500 years ago? Were there giants on Earth? Did we worship them as gods? Did they teach us secret knowledge about architecture, medicine, astronomy, and our origins? Are they the creators of the star cities, the complex canal systems and grid patterns found all over the planet? Perhaps Earth was a gigantic terraforming project. Was free ether energy replaced with messy energy extraction from limited resources to enslave humanity? Were star cities used for energy production and energetic protection from our enemies? What role did frequencies play in the creation of highly complex star forms? Are we suffering from a collective memory loss? Is history nothing more than an artificial matrix of repetitive events created for the purpose of suppressing our true potential? Who benefits from keeping humanity asleep? Who are we really, and where do we come from? Why does it seem that more truth is found in the ancient stories and myths of our ancestors than our textbooks and modern scientific research? Does our amnesia keep us from accessing these collective memories found in ancient myths? Is that lost part of humanity the reason modern life is so cold and hostile? Nothing is as it seems. It's time for us to remember again.
Zuerst wurde es dunkel. Dann kamen die Fremden. Sie kommen, wenn wir schlafen. Auf der Suche nach etwas, um ihre Sterblichkeit zu verhindern. Um unsere Gedanken zu stimmen. Unsere Seele unterscheidet uns von ihnen. Um unsere Erinnerungen auszulöschen. Deren Weg zu tun. Um all das zu zerstören, was uns menschlich sein lässt.
Yes, yes. Thank you guys for checking in. This was just a little introduction of the little series that I'm gonna bring that's showing the destruction. You know, before the reconstruction, it had to be a destruction, and a lot of this is kind of telling you from their side. Um, so this was just gonna be brief for me. I can drop the link if anybody want to come up and talk about anything that they saw or whatever. Give me 1 second. All right. I really appreciate you guys, Sister Soul, Epic Studies, for coming through. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this was like a basic introduction. The next one is gonna be a little longer with a lot more key points that I really want to get in. But yeah, as far as that, you guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Just a little Saturday midnight matinee. That's all. So I'll leave it open for a little bit longer. If not, then I'll holler back at y'all tomorrow with part 2. Hey, welcome, Sister Soul.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, how you doing this evening?
Good. You know that's my type of videos.
You don't like it. I couldn't. Boy, wait till you see part 2, though. You gonna flip out.
Ooh wee.
I'm talking about they leaving
You
us
sound a
out the
little low, bro. I don't know if it's my phone. I turned it all the way up.
okay, let me mic check,
Yeah,
mic check. Can you
yeah,
hear
that
me?
sounds a little bit better. Yep.
Okay, yeah, let me try to cut it up. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to get that audio to play, so I just had it play through my microphone. So
Yeah, mine be doing that sometime. I don't know why I do that. That's so weird and annoying.
yes. Did I get a little louder now?
It's a little loud. It's just a little bit low. I don't know. Yeah, usually my volume is up too. Let me double check to make sure it's not. It's not all the way up. So let me turn it up some more. Okay.
Yeah, I speak softly anyway, so that could be the
Right.
problem. But yes, part two, you gonna really like it. They're gonna show a whole lot more and everything.
Yes, there be so all this these lies, and the more we disseminate the lies, it's like how they be like, oh, people always talking about the history. This is what I'm hearing now lately. People talking about the history. We don't care about them. What's now? Da 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 da. If you don't know what happened back then, I mean, it's not like we're not in the past. We're not living in the past. We just want to remember the past as it really was. So we're not remembering it the way that people present it to us, which is usually the lies. So.
Yes, and it's coming to find out that all the lies was created in the 1800s.
Mhm. Bought
And that's
everything, try to create, restore, put everything here, put everything there. Make everybody do this, make everybody do that. Because why? This is the time of the regeneration of the freaking mind.
exactly.
Throwing over their lies over all of the truth, burying all of our stuff, excavating our stuff, bringing people over here to destroy us and kill us and help bury over us and then to rebuild over us and man, just creating everything they say a whole new world, creating a whole new world for what they want it to be. And making us think other stuff and creating all these stories of friction and lies.
Mm-hmm. But this whole tearing down all the old buildings and stuff, that's the crazy part. I always heard of the reconstruction, but I never heard of the deconstruction part. What were y'all doing
Mm,
tearing up everything and just keeping certain buildings and then all of a sudden out of nowhere you're having world fairs and showing off, all the new stuff that you learned and everything.
right. They came over here picking up everything, all the information, like, oh, shoot, we learned this. Let's act like we did it. Then the whole plan just let's get rid of them and do this and do that. I was telling people all that with the transatlantic slave trade thing, and they was moving stuff back and forth and moving things, not even thinking about different spaces of things they was moving, like even taking like palm trees and moving them, different stuff just to make it like this land is from here. This, people confused. They don't know what's what and who's who, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So doing all of that, taking all that stuff, and then the excavation part where everything was like really destroying our people. And like I always be thinking about how many people like were underground, the people that were living like under the ground. Because remember I showed the thing last week where they literally had like it wasn't like they were just like um living like savages under there. They had towns built under there, like cities. They were living just like on top up under. So when they were living under there, when y'all sit here and destroyed all our stuff and went through all the towns bombing, they was going through all of them. It wasn't like it was separate occasions. Oh, we'll bomb here, we'll bomb here. No, they were bombing all over at the same time. All our people, killing our people. Then they buried over the people, all of the people. After the buildings, the ones that they didn't destroy, they try to make it like it was stuff they built. Then they just
Absolutely right.
They just buried over everything, took, plowed out the stuff and, buried over the stuff and put land more over and then just started rebuilding over. And that's when they started all the world fairs and, da 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 da. It's just been a whole line of nonsense.
Absolutely. One of the craziest things that I heard about the Reconstruction
Hmm.
was about Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Now, they always tell you that they lifted the buildings up and built the city up. But then when you go look at the mud flood records, they built the ground up, but they put the first floor as the basement floors or the set, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they just, I don't understand where the buildup was. It just seemed like you buried stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
so,
how they did it everywhere, bro. Not only just Chicago. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the places they
yep.
buried and they literally built over on top. I showed a video a couple of months ago where it's in one of my albums, but it's like so many different cities and towns you go to, like say they were excavating, then you could see the whole buildings and everything all up under the new buildings. They just got like the layer of ground and then they just, got got all these buildings on top of buildings and shit. Like, what is this? It's like the stuff be so crazy how they just did all this stuff. So they literally buried all these places, and then the ones that the other places that they used, and when the mud floods, they had those things going in. I believe what they did was like blew up certain dams and things to make the water flood into certain areas. So now the water was mixing with the land, and that's created a lot of the mud floods. And then that's what buried a
Hmm.
lot of the people too in the same thing. So and then now once they moved the water out of certain places, then now they can say, okay, this is this place, this is this land. So they take these particular areas and let it dry out, like in Egypt, supposedly or whatever. Egypt, I believe, was a lake. I believe that was a whole great lake, and I think that they did something or emptied the water some type of way from there in a lot of that area, and then that's why it's so much of a so-called desert land because it's really sand, just like under any water is sand. So it's really like, they made it like a desert and then they moved everything. Like I said, you already know that story I feel about hiding Asia from us because in the book it told us it was two great nations. So those two great nations would have had to been Asia and America. So
Hmm.
in the Asia and America, remember the Tatanka, bro. So you already know that's what that secret is. They hide that because if we know that this is our land, it's that why they want to keep saying y'all from Africa, y'all from Africa. Y'all push the Africa on us. Y'all move us away from Asia, and then y'all push the Africa on us. Y'all move us away from America, the two great nations and the two great lands. Y'all try to presume is y'all are the great builders and the great nation founders of and all this other nonsense that y'all created in this story that y'all all orchestrated in the plot and the plan, then go
In the
right back
plan.
again to the other documents. I don't remember if you remember a couple of weeks ago, bro. The one that we was reading some in the book and then I had went to an article and I'm like, look at this. I said this proved that it was literally the what do you call it? Like theatrics. Everything was performance theatrics. Remember, even when it was talking about like Michelangelo, Shakespeare, everything it was saying, all this shit is theatrics, including
Yes.
the New Testament and part making their recreations of everything. Y'all use that as well because now that was a recreation. It was always a story. Shakespeare helped to write that with King James. So when writing these stories, just like any other story, they wanted to fit. And then now they entrap people's mind because they look at the stuff like, oh, look, it said this in the Bible. Yeah, because it was what they planned out. It was a book. Shit, you just been following along with it. Now we catching up. Like, you all see what's going on
Hmm.
here, bro. You be getting so deep. It's just, man. Not to mention the mental savagery of it all. When we think about all the technical stuff that they use and the manipulation of over our minds, and
Hmm.
Mhm.
I'm gonna show a few pictures.
I gotta take this call, bro. I'm gonna hop back up if you still on.
Okay. I'm finna share my screen. Oh, 1 second. Let me find this correct picture. Nah, Sister Soul earlier was talking about that mountain in the middle with the four rivers. And they already had that on the map. Let me show my screen. So as you can see, they said it was that mountain in the middle with the four rivers that went out. All this is the North Pole. This is England all the way over. Well, no, actually, this is not England. This is Finland and Denmark, Norway, all of that right there. Russia. Here's the Americas all the way over from here. Here's Greenland, Iceland, and then there's the islands of England, Scotland, and all of that. So if in it, from what it seems like in the dates of these maps is they knew more about traversing and what's supposed to be Iceland, you know, icebergs everywhere and everything, but they sure had it totally mapped out. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't really gonna be on here that long tonight. I was just bringing this is like a little introduction. Like I said, tomorrow we're gonna come back and we're gonna get it in. You know what I'm saying? But I really appreciate y'all coming out. I really, really do. Sister Soul, I really appreciate you coming up to holler at your boy. We gonna chop it up again. That's for sure. You already know.
This is the Legion. I'm about my paper, baby. What the fuck you saying? Hustler in these streets, but still I got an education. I'ma pull up if you tell me that you paying. I ain't no kid, so I ain't got no time for playing. Explain what you're saying, man. What you saying? What you saying? What the fuck you saying? Man, what you saying? What you trying to say? Man, what you saying?
What you saying? Never hesitated when I hit that weed, I'm spacing. Got 200s on my side, ain't no need for chasing. Every night is something different, but you'll never catch me slipping. Go figure, GCI ain't no broke niggas. Got a boatload of the Asian hoes. On vacation, always baking with Jamaican hoes. I got cash, boy, I don't care what you making, ho. 50,000 on my wrist, I'm feeding Eskimos. Damn. Gary, stay with the shit. Walking crazy round town with a leash on my bitch. Damn girl, I know your nigga mad, cause now I gotta buy a bigger bag.
All right, I appreciate y'all. I'll holler at y'all in the near future. Deuces.